Education Minister Chris Hipkins has been dragged into the Green School controversy after a video was leaked of James Shaw showing he had given verbal sign-off for the bid. Mr Hipkins has been actively distancing himself from the proposal, saying publicly it's not something he'd spend education money on. James Shaw, the co-leader of the Greens, has been working to repair the damage after infuriating party supporters, schools and unions with his strong advocacy for the nearly $12 million application for the private school. Here's our political editor, Jane Patterson.
James Shaw has repeatedly apologised and stated his regret for backing the project. As part of the damage control, he held a Zoom meeting for more than 400 party members on Friday night to talk through how he's ended up in such a predicament.
Chris is not one of the budget ministers, so he wasn't intimately involved in the decision.
But that call is now causing him even more of a headache, with this clip leaked to RNZ.
Because vote education doesn't fund this kind of thing. He did say that, assuming everything else being equal, that as long as the funding partner is the council, which it is, that he was okay with it. So he did sort of give at least a verbal sign-off to the project.
The problem for James Shaw is Labour ministers have clambered to distance themselves from anything to do with the Green School proposal, including Education Minister Chris Hipkins. The bid was approved by a group of wider ministers under an infrastructure fund. They say he should take full responsibility as the sole advocate. That advocacy extended to threatening to block at least 44 projects earmarked for $600 million of funding, unless the Green School project was given the green light. Chris Hipkins was not one of those ministers, but says he and Mr Shaw did discuss the bid.
Where I indicated to him that it was not a priority for education funding. It's not the sort of thing that we would fund through education. But of course I'm not one of the ministers involved in the decisions around the shovel-ready project, so it was not a matter for me to sign off or otherwise. I wasn't involved in that process.
Would he describe it as having given the bid the verbal sign-off?
No, look, I think that would mischaracterise the conversation.
No support for Mr Shaw either from New Zealand First leader Winston Peters.
Why on earth was he plotting the Labour Party then? He had the relationship with them. And in the end, when you make a botch up, accept it yourself. Stop blaming everybody else.
National's Judith Collins says someone's not telling the truth.
So they need to actually decide which one it is and then let us all know.
ACT leader David Seymour says Mr Hipkins should stop the money going to the Green School, regardless of any comments he made to James Shaw.
If Chris Hipkins agrees with funding the Green School, then that is a real disappointment. But if he truly disagrees, then he should pull the funding as a senior member of Cabinet. He should be using his influence to do the right thing.
RNZ has also been given more detail about James Shaw's explanation to members for backing the bid. In the Friday Zoom meeting, he said they'd been coloured by the experience with the New Zealand Upgrade programme in January, in which billions of dollars was committed to roading. Mr Shaw declined an interview again today, but said in a statement he stands by his commentary on the members' call and continues to feel supported by caucus and the membership. From Parliament for Checkpoint, Jane Patterson.